Hi everyone, my name is Kassandra Mantz, and my presentation and research project was on gender and the media. So gender has been an issue since basically media began. The media has evolved and so have these issues, some for better and some for worse. So in this presentation, I will be discussing women in the media, men in the media, children in the media, and then the positivity that is now in the media. So first we have women in the media. So according to Dove, only 4% of women around the world consider themselves beautiful. This is a crazy statistic. There are so many beautiful women in the world, and a lot of the reason why so many women feel this way about themselves stems from portrayals of women in the media. So, an expert in the area of women and the media and gender stereotypes and issues in advertising is Jean Kilbourne. She began studying these issues in the 1960s, which was a time when everyone kind of turned their head and didn't really recognize these problems, and there weren't a lot of resources and studies to back up that these portrayals in the media were having negative effects on women, and a lot of what you see in the media you might think doesn't affect you, but most of it is absorbed by your subconscious, so you don't even realize that you are being affected by it. So Jean Kilbourne has written books, done talks, and her most popular is Killing Us Softly, which are her films. She has, I believe, 4 films now, and she keeps updating those to show the different media throughout time. So women are objectified generally in the media, as you can see in this photo. Women a lot of times in advertising are literally made into that object that company is trying to sell. There's also an infatuation with sexuality, where women are mainly seen as just sexual beings and objects, mainly for the use of men and not as actual human beings. Another aspect of women in the media is the Bechdel test. So this test has 3 criteria, and this test is used for TV and movies to see if women are being equally portrayed. So these 3 criteria are: does it have at least 2 named women? Do those women talk to each other? And if they do, is it about something besides men? So this might sound like some easy criteria, but when you really sit down and do this, and you can look this up on your own, there's many websites that have results of the Bechdel test and tell you which movies and TV shows pass the test and which fail. And a lot of times you don't even realize how much women are not being portrayed as equals in the media. Men outnumber women in television 2 to 1. And the sad part is that a lot of what is being put in the media is what we are choosing to pay for. So a lot of things that don't pass the Bechdel test are what we are paying for. And sometimes when they do pass the test, they're not as interesting to us, and it's a really sad statistic. So the next issue I'm going to be talking about is men in the media. So men are also objectified in the media like women. It's not as broad and big of a scale as it is with women, but it does obviously happen. They're overly sexualized. I mean, men with huge muscles are always just constantly being shown. And I mean, if you don't fit into that muscular category and that perfect guy category, a lot of times in movies you're cast as the fat funny guy, or you have to have something else to set you apart because you don't have those looks. And that's also just really sad for men. An expert in this area is Jackson Katz. He is an activist on the issues of gender, race, and violence, and has done many works and trainings on these issues. And we also in this class have watched a TED Talk with him in it that I think a lot of us found very interesting. So one of his most famous works are his Tough Guys films, which focus on violence, manhood, and American culture. So a lot of what he talks about also is stereotyping of men. So in many films and TV shows, white males are portrayed as basically the good guys and the perfect men, where black men are often portrayed as gangsters and the bad guy and just very violent and angry. And then you have Latino men who are also put into that category of troublemakers and bad guys. And then you have Asian men who are often either seen as just the weaker men, and also they're seen as sometimes trying to be like the black men or the Latino men and be tougher and bad boys, but they fail at this a lot of times in media and are just made fools of. So though this is just in media and in TV and movies, it does affect everyday life and does spill over into real world situations, which often causes unequal opportunities for men other than white men. So next I'm going to talk about children in the media. So gender stereotypes are projected from a young age, and these issues just keep getting younger and younger and affecting more and more children. So they're at a very vulnerable age, so they're very susceptible to fall into these issues and categories. You don't really see boys in an Easy Bake Oven commercial or no girls in action figure advertisements. And if a boy or girl does like to play with the stereotyped toys of the opposite sex, they're often bullied or even just by their parents and families put down for that, and are not often allowed to express themselves because of these stereotypes created by advertisements and the media. Girls are often taught to do domestic activities, while boys are taught to compete and taught to want to win. So 7 in 10 girls believe they are not good enough or do not measure up in some way, and this stems straight from the media. They are comparing themselves at younger and younger ages to the 1% that is idealized by and portrayed mostly in the media. Another thing also is that is affecting body positivity in children and young women is a lot of retail stores. So one retail store that I found is called Justice, and this store is target audience is for around 5 or 6 to 12 or 13-year-olds, and they now have a plus size category, which I absolutely found crazy. This leads right to negative portrayal because no one wants to be plus size, even though over half of our population fits in that category that we are put in by the media and by advertisement and by big companies. So this categorization obviously just creates so many body image issues at such a young age, and it's really sad. But with all of this, there is some positivity in the media. So one of the companies that is leading in body positivity is Dove, which I'm sure many of you know about. So Dove began its self-esteem project in 2004. It wanted girls to grow up confident and gave parents and the girls those tools and workshops to do so. 6 out of 10 girls, they found, are so concerned with the way that they look that they opt out of participating fully in daily life, This is just things like going swimming, going to school, or even just offering their opinions. So Dove also began its Real Beauty campaigns, and one of the first was the Dove Real Beauty sketches, which is pictured right on the side here. And this is where women were talking to a sketch artist who had never seen them before and described themselves. And then a complete stranger was asked to describe these same women. And as you can see, those sketches look very different. And the women were a lot harsher on themselves and focused mainly on their negativity and flaws, and instead of seeing themselves as a whole beautiful person. They also have so many more campaigns to go along with this, like My Beauty, My Say, Choose Beauty, and it keeps growing, and they keep creating inspiring campaigns all about body positivity, and it's a really awesome company. Aerie is also a branch of is a branch of American Eagle, and is also joining this body positivity movement, and has already made a name for themselves in this. So they use the hashtag #AerieReal and have stopped retouching their photos and use women of different shapes and sizes in their ads. And also something that is really cool is every mirror in their store says, "The girl in this mirror has not been retouched. The real you is sexy." And although some may flinch at the word sexy, it is an awesome positive step forward, especially for their audience of young women. They also use their brand and apparel and giveaways to promote their body positivity campaign in fun ways. So they're really an awesome company in this movement. So in conclusion, there are many problems surrounding the media that fill our world, and change is being made for the better, but the problem is not fixed or gone whatsoever. There's a lot of power in media. As you can see, it's so negative, it's affecting people so negatively. And if you just think about if we flipped the mindset and changed our media to be positive, the kind of effects that it could have on our society would be incredible. So thank you all for watching. I hope you guys got something out of this and really learned a lot. I know I did. And if you have any questions, please comment below, and I would love to answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you.